Good morning again to our viewers and welcome back to Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates. Now, Renessa and I took you through that very exciting rundown this morning, and we want to just start off with our first interview, being one of the biggest topics right now being discussed in Trinidad and Tobago, and I think across the region, on some information that was shared to us by one of head of states, internationally, right? So Mr. Curtis Williams is here to speak to us this morning, here to educate us as young people, and even those of us who may not be aware of the situation itself and what it means for us as Trinbagonians. All right, so Mr. Curtis Williams is the president of the Tobago Division of the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce. You see, I had to get that right. He was helping me. He's very helpful. He was helping me prior to this interview, right? And I promised Mr. Williams I will get it right before this interview is over. All right? But before we get on, of course, you want to meet the man of a few minutes this morning, and that is Mr. Curtis Williams. Good morning to you.
And good morning to your viewers and listeners and Tobago Updates. It's a pleasure being here.
It is a pleasure having you, especially in light of what is happening in our space today. I just want to say as well that he's very much competent in what we are about to speak about this morning. All right. So, Mr. Williams, could you give us an explanation as to what this 15,000 USD bond is about and how it relates to the tariffs? And could you go a little bit into the tariffs as well?
Okay, great. Good morning once more. So tariff is not something strange to us. It's not something new to us, right? Basically, a tariff is a tax that any government may impose on import or export. So it don't have to be export only. It could be import as well.
Okay.
That the government could put on goods or services are coming into the country. The reason why a government will put tariff is to protect the local distributors or manufacturers. Also, they could put tariff to assist in raising revenue.
Okay.
Yeah, they could put it to resist, or you could put it to strike deals, like what Trump is doing.
Right.
So you're putting the tariff in order to strike deals, all right? And that's what happens. And these things have been going on. We have tariff throughout the Caribbean. We have tariff throughout the world. It's something that's been going on. Now, the trick about it is the percentage and how it is being applied. So tariff could be applied to the goods as a percentage part of, and then it could apply as per unit. Again, a flat percentage per unit,
right.
Or it could be the combination of the two of them.
Okay.
All right, so that's how the tariff could be placed on goods, and it could be import and export. So folks who manufacture goods in Trinidad and Tobago and want to sell to the US, they impose a 15% tariff, and it could be the other way around. The US is importing goods, then they could be charged tariff as well. So you could do that as well. The government could do that.
Right.
But in this case, is that goods coming into the US is what's going to be charged the tariff, which is the 15%. And again, it's like a tax. Remember when we had the online ship purchasing and the government said they were going to put that's like tariff. It's the same thing. It's just that they have a nice name for it.
Okay.
So the same 7% they put for all online purchasing, you remember that? Come that just like a tariff.
So we're seeing that now like being put on more of our goods and produce coming out and are raising it as per said by the US president.
Correct.
All right. So that was the tariff part of it. Now, a lot of people are questioning what is going on with this US visa thing, right? So could you go into that one as well?
Well, the US visa is a program, and this is not the first time they have run the program. They ran the program before. A lot of people, didn't understand, but the program was run before. I think it's lasted probably about 6 months or so. It didn't last too long because they're going to. So what the US realized is that, hey, we have a lot of folks, and I could tell you in my time, we used to go to the States, we got the visa, and we go to the States, and we just don't come back. So that means some of us overstay our time, let me call it that way.
Right.
And that's happening in Trinidad and Tobago. We know CARICOM residents, folks from different Caribbean countries is coming into Trinidad and Tobago, and they just don't go back.
Okay.
They stay here forever, and they get into the system, and they work undercover. Right.
Correct.
Right. So what happens is that the US said to you, listen to me, there are countries in the Caribbean, and the list haven't come out as yet, right? So, but Trinidad and Tobago is low on that list.
I think it's 2.4%.
We are very low on
I
that
was
list.
wondering
But
about
there are
that.
countries like Haiti, Dominican Republic, and even Jamaica.
Yes.
They are high. There are folks that who get a U.S. visa,
And
they
just-
like gold, and they go to the U.S. and they just don't come back.
Right.
And that is what the government said. Hey, so you come in to get this U.S. visa, we're going to impose a bond. You're going to give us a bond, which is from $5,000 up to $15,000 based on the individual. Remember, this is on an individual basis. It's a country and individual. So it's two tiers going to be used, the country and the individual. And we're going to impose this bond on you. And for instance, now, you know when someone is overstayed the time and they have to find them, it costs money to find them.
Of course.
Right. And then when you find them now, you have to get them out
deport
because
them,
it
correct.
costs money to
Yes.
deport them because they say, I had no money. I broke. I had no money. But you want them to leave. So that's a cost. So what the government is trying to say, listen to me. You're going to put a bond. So if you default and you don't come back, I can now forfeit that bond now and use that now as a means of paying for your expenses.
Okay.
So basically that bond will be used and the bond will be forfeited if you overstay your time. And it's just, again, it's just to encourage people to come to the States for business on your B1 or B2 visa. You come for business, you come for pleasure, spend your time, and please come back home. All right? That's all we're telling you. You go to the United States of America, you're going to enjoy yourself, you go to Vegas, you go to California, or you go to Miami and you do some shopping, come back home. And don't put it, because you bring in hardship on the other individual, other resident of the country by you overstaying your time without permission.
Yeah, because what I'm seeing here is I think Peter pay for all things.
That's correct.
Yeah, and come on, guys. I want to go to the US and not have to pay $15,000. Not saying that we would end up on that list, but I would rather not. Right? Thank you very
and
much.
again, I mean, and it could affect. I mean, if these things happen now, you can imagine business when you have to send, you have to go overseas to do business, and you know
And
what to
even
pay.
the online shopping kind of thing, because I mean, all
That's
of that
correct.
is important.
So it's important that we understand that when you go to the, they give you a visa for a single visit or multiple visit. Just obey the rules. Come back into your country. Don't overstay your time. You're having challenges abroad. You contact the High Commission or the embassies, and you can get in contact with any of the state officers and tell them your problem. Right? I mean, I've been working in the U.S. I've been traveling up and down, and I understand the whole process. Because while working in the state, you'll have a work visa. And then you know, again, I understand the process. So when you go to work, because sometimes folks take the work visa and they just work and spend overtime. They don't come back.
Right.
And that's where the problem lies. So all we appealing to our citizens in Trinidad and Tobago, the U.S. grant you a visa, obey the rules. That's all. Make it easy for everyone because Peter paid for Paul as you indicated early on, and we just don't want that scenario. We don't want to be on that list that's supposed to be coming out soon. We hope that we're not there so that we don't have that force or that pressure to get five. You know, it's a fine $5,000 to $10,000 to put as a bond.
Or
That's
from
a
an
lot of money.
individual, I mean, we could barely afford certain things right now. We only really want to put a 15,000 bond on us. Come on now.
Right.
Come on now. Right. So I want to get a little bit into the visa application process because you said that, you know, we have to follow the rules of the visa when we're traveling. So in terms of the procedure and then heading to America or well, we could get into the UK one afterward if you like,
okay.
right? But for now, the US, right? And then coming back. How does one prevent these things from happening? Like, I apply for my visa. What type of visa should I apply to if I want to work? What type of visa should I apply for if I just want to visit? These type of things. You know, what are the factors in some of these visas that we should follow and then come back to the country on?
So you have the online process to do your visa now. Renewal was no more face-to-face. I could tell you years ago when I used to be applying, I had to go down to Marley Street and line up there 4 o'clock in the morning to get my visa.
Wow.
Right? I had to leave Tobago and you probably had overnight. We used to have to pay, sometimes we pay somebody to hold a spot for you. That's how it used to be. So the US reaches a stage where we say, hey, guys, you're doing your renewal, stay home. Do everything online. And if we so desire, we will tell you come in and do a face-to-face.
Okay.
But I think now, they want to bring back face-to-face interview where they will interview you and see and recognize it. And again, if you have ties in the US and stuff. But a lot of folks tend to do is hide things. So you have an auntie hiding somewhere in the States. So you have this one and you don't want to put it on the paper. And that's where the problem lies. You have to tell the truth.
Right.
So you have a cousin, you know the cousin ain't too proper. So you ain't want to put the document there and say the cousin hiding away in New York, in Bronx, working for the last 10 years. But anytime we find out that you make mistakes or you lie on that form, you're going to be penalized.
Right.
Right? And that's important. So when you're making up these applications, you have to tell the truth. The application sometimes goes down to your family history, where your brothers, where your sisters, where your siblings are. And you have to state the truth. Don't ever feel that you can lie to the US. Don't do that at all, at all, at all. Tell the truth. And then when you're granted your visa, now that doesn't say all is good and cherry, because when you reach Miami, the officer there could deny your entry, yeah? Yes, although you have your visa and you're going up merry and singing, and then after we discover that, hey, you lie on the thing or something popped up or a red flag, or you're probably on a sanction list. Oh, you could be sanctioned too, eh? That's one thing I want to tell you about just now. So you're on a sanction list. Boop. Or your business that you're working for on a sanction list. Don't have to be you. It could be the business you're working for on the sanction list. And then, boop, that's it. Red flag, back down the road.
I want to throw in a question. So you said that, obviously individuals would have to be screened now. Well, it's being brought back for a face-to-face interview to be screened. I was told about a situation. I don't know how, I don't want to get too much into it, right? But I was told of a situation where one person would have liked to get their US visa. And it was going all well and good until someone called in and gave a bad report on the person to where they have to apply, and it caused her to lose the application all entirely. Like, we lose the whole opportunity of getting a visa. So how do you all now filter people who just doesn't want to see you having a US visa? I'll put it like that. How does
Well,
that happen?
again, it's the background checks will be done, and it's something that I do in my next cap. I put it out in my next company.
Right.
We do extensive background checks. We do forensic background checks on people,
Okay.
and that I go deep into your history. So you want to know all about your family. If anyone have been incarcerated, if you have ever been at the police station, what the reason you've been there for. If you have ever been to court, and what's the reason. So once the US have the back door to all these, especially if you're going to if you have a matter pending
Right.
in the local court or the high court. All of that could affect you with your visa. So if you had a criminal record, so you may not be convicted and you feel, well, yeah, good, I went and run away because you see that case, I can't handle that. The US will have access to that database, and they will see that you have been there, or someone like us who do an investigation, we can call in and put, or if we know prior information of you trying to run the country afoul, as the case may be. So it's important that you understand that. So everything just have to be correct, and you have to be up to par. You can't be not an outstanding citizen and try to fly to the US. No.
Right.
No, you definitely know you won't get the visa, and definitely that won't work. So all we just asking you, filling out the form, be truthful as possible.
Yes.
If you don't know, you don't know. If you know, you know. Right? There are things you probably wouldn't know, so you probably will leave that out. And then when they question you, you make sure you have the right answer for it. So go and seek the answer before you go to the interview and prepare yourself. It's not a tedious process. I think it's quite simple. The US do their background checks just like how we do. Very, very, very thorough background checks. And for all applications. And you have a visitor visa, you go up, you do your visit. If you're going on business, you indicate your business. So if you're going on business and you don't have no place to stay, what kind of business are you going to do?
Really and truly.
Yeah, understand? And people do reach in front the officers and say, so you will ask you, you're on business? Yeah, so what hotel you staying at? Oh, hotel? I said, you don't even know where you're going to.
Right.
You don't even have an invitation. You don't have nothing. And you say you're going on business. That don't make sense. And then if you're going on business now, what company you represent, who sponsor your hotel or sponsor your stay and all of that, who's picking you up and all that, you don't know, well, is somebody. And those are things that will raise a red flag. So you have to be truthful, and you have to be open. You're going on business, you're going on business. You're going on pleasure, you're going on pleasure. You're on vacation, you're going on vacation. You're going and see auntie, you're going and see auntie. Where auntie lives? So. Where's auntie number? You give them the auntie number.
Right.
Sometimes they call auntie to verify.
I've been in that position before. Yeah.
They do call auntie to verify that the things you're saying is correct. Now, keep in mind that they are seeing all that they can see on that monitor, so you don't try to say nothing different. So they see when you came in before, how long you stayed, and all that information. So it's important that when we're doing these things, that we do the rightful thing. Youth, young people understand, do the right thing, and it shouldn't have any problem.
I was speaking to someone recently, and they said that someone wanted to cross the border just by saying, I'm coming to babysit my aunt's children. And the person was, of course, deported. What is wrong with that statement?
Yeah, but I mean, when they were moving from Canada to the US, which one of the borders they were trying to go
I think
to?
they were, probably Canada to the US. I'm not sure where, but there was a border that they wanted to pass. I think it was it the UK border? I think it's the UK border. Let's go with the UK border.
But the UK, because the UK goes into, I mean, they have understanding with the EU where they were able to move around, because the UK passport is a very strong passport.
Very.
So you could move around certain countries without a visa. They will still question you accordingly, but again, you could move without a visa, so you wouldn't have to go through that stringent measure. Same thing in the US. There are certain countries that you could move in the US without getting a visa, but they will still question you to find out, what is the reason and so forth and so forth. Again, it's all depend on the individual and the answers you give to that officer in front there, because that officer have full authority to deny you travel.
Right.
Full authority. And when he denies you, you're going back, and if you have to fight that, you have to go to a court. It's a special court to fight that. You have to get an immigration lawyer, and you have to pay a lot of money to deal with that. So why fight up with all of that instead of just telling the truth?
Yes.
And that would help you. So we want to talk about the sanctions.
Yes. I was just about to
yes,
ask,
yes.
what does it mean for an individual who has been sanctioned, who is traveling to the US or the UK or somewhere that needs a visa to enter for port of entry?
Again, sanctions is something that have been there since the memorial. Sanctions have been there, and it's not something new. And so you have different sanctions lists, right? And folks don't understand the US have varied sanction lists. The Security and Exchange Commission, you may be sanctioned there. Your business may be sanctioned there.
Okay.
Yes, that's like our stock exchange here. So do you have a US Security and Exchange Commission? So the business may be sanctioned there. You might be sanctioned there. Yes, and the EU have a sanction list in the UK. The EU, the EU have a sanction list. United Nations have a sanction list as well. There are numerous sanction lists across the globe that a lot of us don't know about.
Right.
So when I'm doing investigation, I have to go through these sanction lists to make sure that you are who you are, especially when you're doing extensive background checks on companies or are doing it on individual.
Yes.
Because individual might be sanctioned, and there is where the problem. Now, sanction is I'm telling you, hey, I don't like what you're doing. So the country who sanctioned you or the entity who that sanctioned you, I don't like what you're doing. I want you to change your behavior. That's basically what a sanction telling you to do,
Okay.
Right? I don't like what you're doing, and I want you to change that behavior.
So you're saying if I'm deported because of a sanction, it's because of whatever business or whatever I'm coming to do, the country does not approve of this behavior.
Right. The country don't like what your company have been doing. And they said, okay, we need you to come and change your behavior. And it might be something that's been wrong. Like we were gray listed and blacklisted.
Yes.
All of those are sanctions, are means of sanction. So what we're telling, like investment coming out of Africa, most of these companies in Africa, some of them are listed, listed sanctioned. Yeah, they're gray listed because of the things they do. They don't do business as how the US may like them to do business.
Okay.
And the US will tell you, because you doing business with that African company, you can't do no business with me. So you understand now? So I'm not going to sanction the company. I tell you, the company is already can't come in. So you decide to go and do business with the company. And I say, listen to me, I give you 10 days to wrap up all that you have doing with that company. Close it off. Otherwise than that, you lost your tie. So it may be a third party. So it don't have to be directly you. So for instance, like what Trump is telling the Indian prime minister, hey, you're taking Russia oil. So I
don't want to deal in it.
So I want to squeeze Russia, but I can't do Russia anymore. So the secondary sanction I'm going to put on Russia now is to say, oh, India, you buying oil from Russia. Use the big ones, you're one of them big, so that's how they gain some money. So what happened? You want to do business with the US? You got to stop taking oil from Russia. It's how easy it is. And that is what happened. And there's an easy explanation I can give so that you can understand it. And that's the way you can move around things. And countries do that all the time. These things going on. That list is a list that is moving. It's a living list.
Yes.
You do go up and you do come off.
Okay.
Individual do go up and individual do come off those lists. So it's something that you have to be monitoring all the time. Sanction lists across the globe. It's something that you have to keep monitoring because you do come up and do. So you pop up a red flag is, boom, And your name, and there's the next thing too, you may have the same name as someone, and you're going up. Yes, then they'll ask you for secondary means of identification. So your passport may be there, yes. I said, do you have any other form of identification? And that happened to me already. Because down here, you know, as again, you could take out state on someone who wants to do business. So I stop you and say, you can't do no business. So I go to the court and I take out this stay and say, no, you can't do business. And it happened as the guy had the same name as me. So I was trying to transfer property and I couldn't get the property transferred.
Right.
And I wondered, well, why I can't get it? So the High Court could take out the states. Come again, same thing. And I was to prove that I am Curtis Williams.
Right. You are the Curtis Williams. That is not this other person.
That is not this other person. Have the same name, same date of birth.
Yes.
Same date of birth. Right? Yes, yes.
Wow.
So I have to prove that I'm not this person. So I have to bring proof that I'm living in Tobago and order additional proof. To prove to the attorney and then to prove to them that, hey, the bank, that, hey, this guy is really Curtis from Tobago, that living in Scarborough and all that good stuff. So these are things that we ought to know going forward.
I think we really should. It's been a very good educational journey in this one little session. And I know it's a lot of information that our viewers may have taken in. But, you know, we can always bring Mr. Curtis back. You know, I'm just throwing that out to him one time. He's smiling, so I think that's an approval. That's a yes. He agrees, right? So, Mr. Williams, I just want to thank you so much for joining us here this morning and sharing this piece of information with us, or these pieces of information with us. Right, before we go, of course, we know that the UK also wants to put visas into the system for Trinidad and Tobagonians to go to the UK. What do you think about that? And what is your advice to Trinbagonians who may be falling on the bad side of things, meaning they were the reason for this visa implication?
Well, coming out from the information from the UK High Commission is that there are folks from Trinidad and Tobago was going up to the UK and seeking asylum.
Right.
There are a lot of them. You know, you could see, because I think the UK signed on to an agreement that they reach the UK and said, oh, I declare I want to seek asylum. And then they put you into a program.
There's actually a list there.
Yeah. They put you into a program and you go through the program for, I think, a period of 5 years. They put you up, you can't do certain things, you can't do certain things. But while you're in that program, the UK had to pay.
Right.
Oh yeah, I have to mind you for the period of time until everything is completed, and it's a cost to the country. Because there are folks who came here and do the same thing. They want to seek, and then they have different agencies that have to take care of you and so forth. So the UK find that number had been going up, and they said, okay, fine. We want to impose some kind of restriction. I like the word restriction. I didn't want to call it a visa. A restriction on resident, on visitors coming to the UK. Yes, it affects business. It affects a lot of us, especially in business, the business community. It affects us. We can't just send our workers as we want to. Even when we want to go, we definitely have to get this visa. The visa have a cost to it and so forth. There's an application process, timing, etc. And we could see the numbers of visitors did drop. Folks who go into the UK. And we're still in conversation with the High Commissioner to see if he could relax that. Again, it's such a sanctions, it's just a change behavior. So yes, they put the visa restriction on us, but we could continue at our level of the Foreign Affairs to continue having conversation with the High Commissioner office and the UK to persuade them that, hey, we were like that before, we no longer like that. Can you look at the statistics for the last 6 months or the last year? Have you seen the number drop drastically? No one is coming to seek asylum anymore. Please move the restriction, and they could lift the restriction.
All right.
So that's the conversation we're having with the UK.
So we're hoping that, you know, we stay within that desired number, if that is the way, that the strategy that we are choosing to face the High Commission with. You know, a lot of us, we love the travel between the UK and Trinidad and Tobago. Stop it. Thank you. Right. But Mr. Williams, I want to thank you so much for joining us here this morning on Youth Wednesdays and Tobago Updates. I think it was a very youthful discussion. I asked on your behalf that Mr. Curtis brings it right down to a level that we understand, you know, what the sanctions are about, the visas are about, especially this bond that has now been put in the air, maybe to be invoked on us, right? So, you know, I just want to thank you for that, especially for breaking it down for us, breaking it down for me personally as well, right? So once again, Mr. Williams, have a good day. And I just want to practice this president's You see, because they gave me the wrong information, right? So you tell me and I will repeat it.
So I'm the chairman of the Tobago division of the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce.
So you are the president, the chairman
of the Tobago division of the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce.
He is the chairman of the
Tobago division
of the Trinidad and Tobago
Chamber
of Industry and Commerce. I'll take that one. I need to be paid extra for that one. Thank you very much. All right, Mr. Williams, thank you so much for joining us. Viewers, before I go, I just want to encourage you to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Okay.
That was really good. Thank you.